Something that's often talked about in education is the school culture, right? And school culture is like the health of the school. Like if you've got a good culture, then you have good behaviors and you have kids that seek academic excellence and do good. You know, like having a good culture means that things feel safe, things are being productive. We're turning out students that are successful and ready for the world, you know? So the question is how do we get to that culture? You know, like we've established this idea of what we want, the aim of what our school does, or what we want out of our students, or what we want our students to be like. And that a culture means that aim is shared. You know, like we've all agreed this is the direction we need to go. Like if you all are aiming towards this, and like by definition this is a progressivist idea, you know, like to get to this common goal, what is the best for all of us. And postmodernism has really said, well, my aim might be different than your aim. So like it's this idea of like we can't have a common goal because we all have different beliefs and we all have different needs or wants or whatever have you. Like I'm different than you, so we can't have this common goal. And that may be true to some extent, but the thing is, there is an ultimate goal, like to be happy, the pursuit of happiness. And to understand what happiness is, we all have to have a understanding of what happiness is. So when people come from different cultures or different backgrounds or whatever, let's call it home lives, their home life culture versus the school culture. And ultimately, a lot of those home lives, not a lot, but an increasing amount of those home lives don't know what they want. They don't know what happiness is because they haven't been asked, what do you think is happiness? And the happiness that they've been shown their whole life may not be that happy. There might be a trauma in it. So when you can't know what you don't know. So it's teaching that culture, even if the home life of the student is negative. When they get to school, they need to learn that, hey, this is a positive situation. And ultimately, that needs to be carried out throughout all classrooms. Like, they need to feel safe. And this gets to that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, like, are we facilitating or at least trying to scaffold, to crutch, to supplement, that's probably the best word, to supplement what these kids are not getting in their home life or outside of school, whatever that may be or whatever that may look like. So understanding each student and being like, okay, what do you need? Let's start with these basic needs. Are you getting sleep? Are you getting fed? Are you, is your hygiene taken care of? Like, are these basic needs being met? If they're not, then it becomes the job of the school, more or less, to facilitate these things. And it may not have always been this way in all situations. And I believe that's what the belief that teaching is going in there and being able to just give out information and nothing more. Like, I'm going to build a lesson for you, I'm going to teach you this thing, and then you're going to learn it. If that's all that teaching was, and this is often the common belief, is why is this so hard? Why are the kids test grades so bad? Why, like, we're looking at these tests, and this doesn't show anything about the child. So unless we are getting the children taken care of, these basic needs met, there's no way that these kids will be able to take a written test and demonstrate that they have learned these things, that they have been taught these things, because they can't get there. And ultimately, the teachers are aware of this. Good teachers are aware of this. So they're trying to facilitate these things and fulfill these fundamentals, and then getting them to a behavioral level in which they can take a test which they need to learn the information for. That's the hierarchy of needs for teaching. So to build a culture means that these needs are met and these needs are addressed so that they can be happy, so they can understand what happiness. If you're fed, you've got good rest, you're going to be happier than if you are not. And so taking care of these needs is what the culture of a school is. And so then learning can happen. And then learning needs to become an experience. You need to facilitate experiences for these students. So again, going back to these written tests and these written lessons, these theoretical and hypothetical knowledges, they're not practical. Like, the kids don't see worth because it's not part of their lives. So to teach anything is to integrate these lessons, these things that they need to learn, this information embedded in experience, embedded in activities that the kids can see. Like, okay, here's this situation, this media, and this is what's going on, and this is how it's used, the techniques, so that this outcome can happen, the subject matter. So in teaching art, you're teaching these fundamentals. Okay, we're going to play with this crayon, see what it does. Okay, what do you notice? Oh, if I push down hard, it gets darker, and if I push down lighter, it gets lighter. And it can make a line, but it can get blunt too, and you can put a lot of color down in a short amount of time, So, and it has the principles of color versus black and white. So these are what this media can do. So if we use it this way, that's one technique. If we use it this way, it's another technique. If I use it sharp, it's going to be one technique. If it's going to be blunt, it's going to be one technique. So what does it do in these different situations? And then making the outcome that is desirable with the confines, the constraints of what that media is, becomes what we can do with the subject matter. What does good look like in this context? Well, good in this context means that I can shade with the colors, and I'm blending the colors, and I'm layering the colors, and I'm using the techniques to show the outcome, to make this translation of what the idea I had and what it looks like so that you understand it. And that's the culture. That's like what art teachers have known, good art teachers have known always. The means of communicating how to do that is the question. This is the curriculum. So the curriculum has to be the culture. What culture do you want to build needs to be used in whatever subject matter that is, and the things that need to be learned need to be embedded in experience for these kids to learn optimally. So with that, then comes an expectation, right? So you're building a reputation, a rapport. Like a reputation, by definition, is what you are thought of, right? So if you have a good reputation, you're ultimately saying that, yeah, you are capable. Like, a good reputation means that you are capable, that you work well with others, that you know how to do this stuff, like, that you're willing to learn, like, the most befitting in any situation that is given to them. Like no matter what vocation, what job, what career you're going into, you will be capable and do a good job. Have a outcome that is pleasing to everybody else. Your product is good. So when people hear this, they're like, oh, I have heard of that person. They have a good reputation. They are capable. They are willing. They are able. You know, they work hard. They use their time efficiently. Whereas a bad reputation is they're lazy. They can't do anything. They are not beneficial to me. Because that's what good is, isn't it? It's like, if things are good, it's beneficial to me. I feel happy. All these things are synonymous. And so establishing a culture for a good reputation is like, it feels good to be here. Like, I feel successful. I feel like I'm working with capable people. And ultimately, nobody wants to work in a situation that is bad or has a bad reputation. You don't go and buy the product that has a half star, no stars. You buy the product that's got the most ratings and the most stars. And that's what this becomes. This is what the culture is. This is the reputation. This is how you teach the class. You are building a society, a world in which these kids can live in and see positivity. And then when they leave that situation, they bring that positivity, or they promote that positivity. People that are positive are drawn to them, and it builds this culture wherever these students may go. This little gospel light of mine, you know, like I have this good news, and I have this capability, and I strive, and I work hard, and I want others to feel that way too. I want others to feel good, happy, you know. So no matter what the situation is, you are trying to be to work in the best interest of yourself and everyone around you. You do not want toxicity, and the only way to get there, go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is get to that self-actualization. I recognize myself. I recognize my involvement around others. I recognize my position in this world. And I want other people that are positive around me. And I want to do positive things. So you're seeking out these people to be around you. But with schools, you get all these kids in the raw, whatever situation that they are coming from. And to build a culture is to get them to recognize positivity, happiness, success, other people that are positive. What you are doing is good. What you are doing is bad. And this is why. You are doing stupid things. You are hurting yourself, others, the things around you. You are distracting. You are not helping promote each other. You are being selfish. And that's the awareness that needs to be taught in a classroom, but only after these base needs are met. You got to climb your way up that pyramid. You can't skip any steps. It's really brilliant, really. So to recognize and build these positive cultures in your school is to fulfill the needs and then bring them to self-actualization. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Do more, do better.